Has she joined, Bhavesh sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. I welcome Samir sir, Samir Nagajan sir, who is Global President HR, to speak on today's topic, that is leadership. I welcome Abhinand sir, Vyas sir, Bharti madam, who is expected to join us anytime, Pradeep sir, and Bhavesh sir. Apart from that, I also welcome all my faculty, my colleagues, as well students. So, students, today we are once again back with a topic on leadership, which is actually very challenging and it is ever evolving with time. So, over to Abhinand sir for his opening remarks.
Yeah, good morning to you all and good morning students, and welcome you once again to this dynamic leadership series of Turning Point. And this time I must tell you that we all are fortunate, not even you, but all the faculty here are fortunate to have Mr. Samir Nagarajan sir here in a specific topic which I like to the most, the leadership, in these turbulent times, which we are going through, COVID and other times. We are looking forward to leaders who are adaptable. They have visioning capabilities, sense making skills, relating skills. And that is what makes a leader stand as a true leader. And in this today's corporate world, we are looking forward to leaders who can put their footstep ahead and make things work and take the organization to the next level. And that's what we are looking forward to in during this COVID time. I must tell you, you are fortunate enough to learn from a very highly HR leadership skills from Samir Nagarajan sir. And I will not waste time because, his time is more precious and I would like to listen more from sir. Over to Namrata ji. Thank you, sir, for
Thank you, Abhinandan ji.
time. It's precious time. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhinand sir, for helping us again from the remote place yet. And now I invite Pradeep sir for his opening remarks.
So good morning, all of you, and good morning, Samir sir, especially sir.
Pradeep.
Few things I like to say before you start your session, sir. The moment you joined this organization, I can say the one change which I am observing in Kerala is identifying human as a resource, because many times we forget the full form of this thing. So after you joining this, I can see there are a lot of change which is happening, and I always see sir in a lot of hurry. Sir always walks in with a lot of hurry. So this means sir has a very limited time to perform so many things. So many things. He is in a process to do a lot of changes. A lot of changes are always visible, and the best change which I see, sir, identifying again, I'll say, human as a resource. Sir. Second thing, sir, I have learned to be you're very much grounded, sir. You always talk about the base, the grassroots level. Answer is very practical approach. So this I can say, because the topic which you have chosen today, it is definitely going to help many of us. And definitely I am also very, very excited, maybe more than all the students which are on the screen or off the screen. So with this words, I again give it to Dr. Namrata.
Thank you, Pradeep sir, for
Pradeep,
saying.
whatever you said shows the true spirit of a dynamic leader with humility.
Exactly, sir. This
that.
is what, the brisk walking and this thing. So even I am excited. Yeah, that this is what is actually one of the expectations from a leader, to walk, briskly, and others, following, and the groundness, what you said. Now I invite our student Dhara Chaudhary. Dhara, you can unmute yourself and can go ahead with the introduction part.
Hello everyone, this is Dara Chaudhary wishing all of you a very warm good morning. Good morning. I would take immense pleasure to introduce our today's speaker, Mr. Samir Nagarajan. Mr. Nagarajan is a highly experienced HR professional and currently serving as a Chief HR Officer at our very own Cadila Pharma. He has worked with reputed organizations such as Hindustan Unilever, AstraZeneca Pharma, Dabur International Limited, etc. He is driven by passion for people and performance, with interest in organizational efficiency, talent management, personal growth, leadership development, learning, and employee relations. He has a wide intercultural experience spanning Asia, Europe, Africa, and the US. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dhara, for this introduction. And we are connected with Bharti Madam also. She's Dean School of Science. Good morning, Madam. Madam, unmute yourself.
Good morning, Samir sir.
Today we are privileged that we have both the deans and Abhinand sir as well. The quorum is complete today. Maybe this is a warm welcome.
I would like to say that we also have very true leaders in our both the deans who are striving their individual schools to the next level.
Agreed, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Abhinand sir is
Thank
always
you,
there
Abhinand
to
bhai.
support us. So now I invite Sameer sir officially and formally also to please kickstart the webinar.
Ji. Thank you so much, Dr. Bajaj, Dr. Namrata ma'am, and a very special welcome and hello to all students who have joined today. So let me start by telling you something that I think Pradeep also does not know. So Pradeep, you can also listen in. So I was born in a place called Etawah. I was born in a place called Etawah in Uttar Pradesh. Etawah is currently well known as it's still a remote area. It's still backwaters. When I was born 54 years back, it was even more remote. Until the age of 9, I lived in places like Etawah, Kanpur, Bilaspur, and Lucknow. Lucknow was a big city, but at that time, Lucknow was not a big city. Lucknow was also a small city. Now, here's the crunch. Until the age of 9, I used to read, speak, and write in Hindi. I used to think in Hindi. It's not that I didn't know English, but I studied English as a subject. It was not the language that I was fluent with. And when I was 9 or 9.5 years old, my father used to work in the railways. I got transferred to Mumbai. Bombay as it was. And Bombay was a big city even at that time. So we're talking about 1975. So even at that time, Bombay was a big city. And I was in an English medium school with people who had studied English all their lives. They used to think, not just speak, read and write, they used to think in English. And that was when I first realized that in some ways I was different. I had issues with language. I had issues in relating with people, talking to people. And for some time, I was actually very depressed. I was a little low. As would happen, when you're 9 years old and you find that you are speaking a language that most people don't understand or most people are not comfortable with. And they are speaking a language that you are not comfortable with. And you're like, "Ye kya hai? No one understands what I'm saying and I don't understand what anyone is saying." A little bit of adjustment issues, but at that age, everything seems to be a huge challenge. So one day I came home and I was quite upset and I spoke to my mother and my father and my sisters. I said कि ऐसा है, मुझे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, जाते हैं, फिर से लखनऊ जाते हैं. And we sat down and talked for a long time. And fundamentally, my parents told me, you have a choice. You can either look at the situation you're in, learn from it, do something and grow. Or you can give up. You can say that this is a challenge that I can't handle and it is time for us to stop and go back. I made a choice that day when I was 9 or 9.5 years old, and that's the choice I've been making after that day as well. हर बार जिंदगी में जब चुनौती आती है तो मैं अपने आप को याद दिलाता हूँ कि वो 9.5 साल का बच्चा क्या सोच रहा था कि करेंगे या नहीं करेंगे. एंड पेरेंट्स की एडवाइस क्या थी कि नहीं करना है तो मत करो. क्या है, अगर उतना मुश्किल लग रहा है तो मत करो, लेकिन करोगे तो शायद कुछ सीखोगे, कुछ जीतोगे. So I went launched straight into a personal incident, but it's important to understand that वो समझना इसलिए ज़रूरी है कि अगर आप मेरी उसके बाद पूरी वाली ज़िंदगी देखें तो हर बार ये एटीट्यूड रहा है कि जब भी कोई मेरे सामने आता है और कहता है कि नया चीज़ है जो आपने कभी किया नहीं है, जो हमने कभी किया नहीं है, शायद आपको मुश्किल लगेगा, तो कहते हैं शायद मुश्किल लगेगा लेकिन ट्राई तो करते हैं ना, देखते हैं क्या होता है. पहले 12 साल स्कूलिंग के मैंने 12 स्कूल में किए, करीब 9 शहर में. ग्रेजुएशन के लिए चेन्नई गया और तब भी सच बोलूँ ना, मैंने बीकॉम किया. My parents were not very happy. My marks in my class 12 were not very good. My marks in my class 12 were better than my marks in my class 10, but they were still not very good by themselves. So engineering में तो एडमिशन नहीं मिला, मेडिकल में तो एडमिशन नहीं मिला. अच्छा हुआ, साइंस तो मुझे वैसे भी साइंस और मैथ्स तो वैसे भी उस समय उतना समझ नहीं आता था, तो कॉमर्स की 3 साल बाद कॉमर्स करके मुझे इतना समझ में आ गया कि मुझे अकाउंटेंट नहीं बनना। डेबिट एंड क्रेडिट कर सकता हूँ और बैलेंस शीट आज भी इंटरप्रेट कर सकता हूँ। हमारे CFO हैं, उनके साथ बैठकर मैं नंबर समझता हूँ, कहता हूँ कि प्रॉफिट के ड्राइवर्स क्या हैं, सेल्स के ड्राइवर्स क्या हैं, तो अगर रेशियो समझते हो आप, समझते हैं, थोड़ा सा समझ लेते हैं, वर्किंग कैपिटल क्या है, फिक्स्ड कैपिटल क्या है, आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड, आई कैन हैव अ डिस्कशन, बट हार्ट इज नॉट. Where is my heart? Heart is working with people in different situations, in different perspectives. So I did an MBA in HR, and after that I started working on the 8th of April 1988. So 7th of April this year will be 33 years that I've been working in different companies. As the girl who introduced me kindly pointed out, yes, Unilever, Hindustan Unilever, Dabur, AstraZeneca, Ciba Geigy, the Ferguson company at that time, started working. And each time I would always look at और क्या कर सकते हैं, नया क्या कर सकते हैं. So, but do it in a nice kind of way, and I would always try and learn something more. You know, you're doing a job. What is it that you can understand a little bit more about how the job is done? I'll be honest with you, the first 4 or 5 years of my career were a little ठीक है, मैं सीख रहा था. अब डोंट गेट मी रॉन्ग, सीख तो मैं आज भी रहा. इनफैक्ट मेरी ये इच्छा है, जब प्रदीप के साथ सेशन के पहले मैं बैठ रहा था, उसको समझ रहा था, तो मैं सोच रहा था कि इस सेशन से हम भी क्या सीख सकते हैं. So I'm looking forward to some interesting questions and comments and reactions, so I can also learn something. But I was not, to be honest, मैं देखूँ तो I was asking a lot of questions. I was trying to create as many experiences for myself, but I was not getting on top of it. I was not contributing very much. I was doing things. Somewhere in the middle of my tenure with Ferguson, so about 4 years into my career, my boss called me. He said, will you go abroad? I said, yeah, if you send me, why not? So he said, no, it's a project. I said, where is the project? He said, Saudi Arabia. So I was taken aback. I said, Saudi Arabia? I said, it's a very, you know, everyone knows Saudi Arabia has certain rules and regulations in terms of how you behave in that country and what you do. So I said, okay, but what is the project about? He said, no, it's an interesting project. You just go there. I said, okay. So at that time, of course, passports used to take 2.5 months to, you applied for a passport, it would take about 2.5 months to get a passport. Tatkal naam ki koi cheez nahi thi. Tatkal was that you meet the passport officer. He thinks you can get it fast. He will tell you, and he will just say कि 30 दिन में मिलेगा या 45 दिन में मिलेगा या 60 दिन में मिलेगा. You had no choice on it. He said 45 दिन में मिलेगा. Obviously you look like must have looked like a decent fellow. I said ठीक है. Went back to my boss. He said okay. Maybe 2 months later I was in Saudi Arabia. And that was when there was a second turning point in my life. Not because it was, I mean, because it was Saudi Arabia, but not because only of that. What happened was that it was a strange country. It was completely alone. It's a very rules-driven country. You need permission to do anything inside that country, including visiting a tourist site. You need permission from the police if you're a visitor. And this I'm speaking in the early 90s. Things have changed a little bit now, but so go there if you get an opportunity to go there. By all means, go there. It's a wonderful learning experience. But I was there for 5 weeks. I was working on a project. My boss, the person who I was working for, was an Englishman. His second in command was an Englishman. Third in command was an Arab, Saudi Arab. The full team was people from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Middle East, all over the Middle East. And I felt so lonely. I was so completely lonely. I was like, who cares? I would work for 8, 9, 10 hours in a day, then I would go back to my hotel and look at the TV because there was nothing else to do. And about 1 week into the whole thing, I was beginning to feel like, yeah, chodo, let's just dump everything and go back. Go back to India. Okay, consulting doesn't matter. Maybe the project is a disaster. I will just go back and tell the boss, okay, I'm sorry, I can't do this, and either you give me another job or I find one. And I spent one full night thinking about this, and then I realized, I said, again, I kind of reminded myself, what would that 9-year-old boy have done? What would my parents have told me? And then I said, ठीक है, you're alone. So the thing is, you don't have your friends around. At that time, there was no internet and no WhatsApp. You had public pay phones, but then telephone networks are bad. You could not always talk to people and so on. So I said, ठीक है, it's a defined project. 5-6 हफ्ते लगेंगे. Try करते हैं ना. देखते हैं क्या होता है. At best, you will be in the office or you'll be in the hotel. So at least that much is defined. Give it your best and see what happens. The moment I gave myself that permission, I found that I was also able to relate to a lot of people very, very easily. So then I started talking with the boss from the UK, who was an Englishman, as a friend, as an equal. I would walk into the room every morning and say, how does this work in your country? How does this happen in Saudi Arabia? Some days he would tell me, I'm busy, don't come now, come back later. But he would talk. I would talk to the people from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Middle East. How are things in your country? What happens? And I would ask them uncomfortable questions. Yeah, issues that people are sensitive to, issues of region, religion, caste, gender. At that time in Saudi Arabia, for example, women could not work. So we would talk about that. As long as you were having a polite and discreet conversation, everything was within limits. And I understood a lot about the culture, how to deal with people from different countries and different cultures. I came back a completely different person. The project was a huge success back then. So successful that I got another project for myself. I made another visit to this time. Second time I went in 1993. 94, I spent 9 months in Dubai. But the company also got a lot of business. So they were also very happy with me. You did well and so on. That was my second major turning point. My third point, so what I'm going to do is to tell you 2 more turning points, and then we'll talk a little bit about leadership and what it is and what it means for, मतलब आप अभी पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, स्टूडेंट हो, तो स्टूडेंट के हिसाब से आप लीडरशिप के बारे में क्या समझ सकते हो और क्या सबक सीख सकते हो उसके बारे में. जिंदगी में तीसरी टर्निंग पॉइंट मेरी ये थी when I joined Hindustan Lever, and for the first time in my life I had to work in a factory. Now, I knew that you had to work in a factory. That was a job that at Hindustan Lever. I had applied because Hindustan Lever at that time, so I was been working for about 6 years then. Hindustan Lever is a big brand name. It's a well-known company, offers a career, offers learning opportunities. So obviously a little stars in the eyes. मैं सोच रहा था चलिए try करते हैं, देखते हैं. Interview में गए, 2 interview में गए. By then I was also थोड़ा more confident, more assertive, more aggressive. I said, "We work in a factory." I said, "Okay." And I had a lot of. I had never worked in a factory before that, and this was a factory in Madhya Pradesh, a remote area. And all of Hindustan Lever's factories are in very remote areas. So very remote place in Madhya Pradesh called Chhindwara. 300 workmen, all of them first-generation workmen. Their parents were farmers. These workers had joined as workmen, and I was very confused. I didn't know how to. क्या करेंगे? Unions थे, not very aggressive unions, but still, if a union is there, you have to deal with the union. And I wasn't sure. So again, I told myself, जाके देखो क्या होता है, पता चलेगा how you deal with people, different kinds of people. And then I was thinking to myself, आप तो Saudi Arabia or Dubai जाकर you have dealt with people. So going to Chhindwara and dealing with people is different, but it's not difficult. We have done these things before. Went there, and initially I would say for the first 2, 3, 4 weeks I was a little frozen, I was a little reserved. Then I said, क्या हो गया? I said, क्या हो गया? जाके बात करो लोगों से. I started talking to them. I used to get onto the shop floor. I used to operate machines. अभी भी मैं फैक्ट्री में मशीन चला सकता हूँ. साबुन की फैक्ट्री में, टूथपेस्ट की फैक्ट्री में, I know how to operate machines. I also know what a salesman's job is, by the way, because some point in time I said, चलो देखते हैं मशीन कैसे चलता है. तो मैंने एक वर्कमैन था वहाँ पे, मैं उसके पास गया, मैंने बोला कि सिखाओगे मुझे? तो कहता है कि सर आपको मैं कैसे सिखाऊंगा, ऐसे नहीं, मशीन चलाना मुझे नहीं आता. तो कहता है अच्छा बहुत आइए बैठिए. मैं tried it and it is really difficult. It's really difficult for 8 hours if you have to, for example, package soap or running a mixer or watching as in a packaging machine. It's not easy at all. And you know what tweaks you do, and I realized the beauty of the job. The workers they really apply their intelligence to what they do. Sometimes in a very competitive way, sometimes in a not so nice way, sometimes in a nice way, to make sure that the whole factory progresses. And I learned a lot. And I think the turning point came when, unfortunately, what happened was that our factory was in a remote area. It was Chhindwara is a remote area, but this factory was also about 10 kilometers outside the town. And the road between the factory and the town was poorly lit. And at that time, we are talking now about 20 years back, workers used to go by bicycle. But that road also had trucks and buses on it. So one worker, unfortunately, at 7 o'clock in the evening after sunset, had a very bad road accident. He was run over by a truck, but he was alive on the road. So the moment we got the news, something happened. I don't think I didn't bother to see what the rule was or what the company policy was. I just got into my car and I had a car. Proud second-hand car I had bought from my uncle. I was very proud of it. I drove there. He was in bad shape. And there were a lot of workmen there saying, "आप क्या करोगे?" तो मैंने कहा ठीक है एम्बुलेंस बुलाते हैं. तो फोन किया डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल, एम्बुलेंस बुलाया. So they said, "सर आप अपनी गाड़ी में क्यों नहीं ले जाते हो?" I said, "I don't have a problem, लेकिन अगर गाड़ी में बिठाऊं तो बिठाने में कुछ इसको ना हो जाए. 10 मिनट में एम्बुलेंस आ रही है आने." I spent the whole night in the hospital with that guy. My wife was at home. I was married then. I just told her कि ऐसा हो गया. I'm busy, I'll be with you. There were 5 other workmen with me, and by morning he had not recovered consciousness at 7 o'clock. And these 5 workmen, 2 of them were union leaders. They started putting some pressure on me, saying they go Nagpur later. Nagpur is the nearest big city. But Nagpur is 300 kilometers. It's about 8 hours, 6 hours by road at that time. तो मेरे दिमाग में तो ये डर कर रहा है because they are bouncing the decision on me. अगर मैंने हाँ कर दिया and if he goes to Nagpur and God forbid he has not recovered consciousness for 8 hours, if he goes to Nagpur and something happens around the way, the same people will turn around and say आपने move किया था ऐसे. So I asked the doctor, I said क्या करें? So doctor said कि I think I will operate and I think he will be all right. So it was a leap of faith. I said, I went out and told you, I said, Doctor Saab is operating. Doctor Saab says not to move it. But मेरे दिल में थोड़ा धक धक हो रहा था. He recovered. He recovered. The union leaders. So what happened was a sea change. After that, the union and the workmen started seeing me as some kind of a savior. They said कि साहब ने इस लड़के की जान बचा दी. अगर साहब नहीं होते तो और कुछ हो जाता. But for me, the most touching moment came some days, some weeks after that. It took him a long time to get back home. He was badly injured, but 2 things happened. One was that from the company's point of view, at some point in time, his leave ran out, his facilities ran out, and someone came to me and said कि कल अगले हफ्ते से इसका तनख्वाह बंद करना पड़ेगा क्योंकि no more provision. So then I got a little angry. So I rang up a few people and I said कि तनख्वाह देना चाहिए. So they said पॉलिसी नहीं है ये नहीं है ऐसे ठीक है देना चाहिए. So they said okay, your responsibility दे दो कर दो. I said हाँ, I take accountability to do that. He came back to work. He was immensely grateful. But more than that, I think 2 months after he came back to work, I was just driving past a different locality in Chhindwara when I stopped the car. It was go to a shop and I came out and this lady came to me and put a chair in front of me and said, "बैठिए." So I said, "तब आप कौन?" So then it turned out that she is the wife of this employee. And she said, "आपने इनकी जान बचा दी, आपने मेरी जिंदगी बचा दी और मेरे बच्चों की जिंदगी बचा दी." So I was like, okay, then I was of course very too attached, very moved. And we had a nice conversation. She made a cup of tea for me. Small cup of tea. That was probably the only cup in her house and that was the only chair in her house. And then I realized about 10 years into my career, therefore, no less than that, 8 years or 7 years into my career, I realized that you have a choice, not just to face difficult situations and do new things, but you can be a force for good. दूसरों की भलाई कर सकते हो. आप ऐसे हालात बना सकते हो जिससे दूसरों की भलाई हो और जिससे लोग सीखें और खुद बढ़ें. ऐसा ना कि आप खुद स्वार्थ के लिए देखें. हाँ, जरूर अपनी भलाई देखिए. It's not that. I'll be honest with you. मैंने कभी ये ऐसे नहीं किया है कि मेरा घाटा हो और दूसरों की भलाई हो, लेकिन सिर्फ मेरा भला हो ये मैंने कभी नहीं देखा उस दिन के बाद. And the fourth episode was therefore the acme. In my second stint at Hindustan Lever, when I was head of employee relations, 30 फैक्ट्री थे, 10,000 एम्प्लॉइज थे इन 30 फैक्ट्रियों में. मेरी टीम में करीब 100 लोग थे. And the relationship was not good between the company and the workers. So the whole question was, how can you improve this relationship? What can you do? ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लूँगा मैं अभी, लेकिन मैंने ऐसा प्रोग्राम किया through my team where we made sure that people were motivated and people were happy by touching them in their lives. किसी की जिंदगी को कैसे छोड़. एक तो ये है कि 8 घंटे में काम कराना, ये करना, वो करना, तनख्वाह देना, that is मेरी राय में that is what I call transaction. वो तो एक तरह से मार्केट का काम हो गया ना कि आपको 8 घंटे का तनख्वाह दे रहा हूँ, आप 8 घंटे का काम करिए. हाँ जरूर करिए, अगर उतना भी नहीं हो रहा है तो काफी प्रॉब्लम है. लेकिन उसके अलावा मैं आपकी जिंदगी कैसे छू सकता हूँ, क्या कर सकता हूँ. और ऐसा प्रोग्राम बनाया जिसमें बस एक मेट्रिक दूंगा मैं आपको. एक साल तक था, हर साल there used to be a large number of man days lost in the company. Lekin after this program was implemented, the number of man days lost came down to 0. This means if you were supposed to work for 300 days in a year, after weekly off and after paid holiday and casual leave, you were supposed to work for 300 days in a year. Every person in the company worked 300 days in a year, all 10,000. And that is a record which has continued over the years. In that process, I created leaders. I created managers who became leaders. And I'm very proud of the fact that people who have worked with me have become leaders in other companies. कई कंपनियां हैं, Starbucks, there's TVS Group, there's Nestle, there's one person used to be in Emami, he's moved on now. There's 7 other companies where people who have worked with me have now become leaders in their own right. And मतलब they are respectful of me. कोई आकर मुझे कहता नहीं है कि आपकी वजह से हुआ, लेकिन आपसे इतना सीखा वो तो जरूर बोलो. बाकी अपनी एफर्ट है, वो तो एफर्ट लगानी ही पड़ती है. But my learnings therefore from this whole journey, and then of course somewhere along the way I did that. Then my boss, my bosses have in Lever was a lady, Leena Nair. She came to me, she said, क्या करना चाहते हो? ऐसे कुछ है नहीं, एम्प्लॉय रिलेशंस कर दिया, ऐसे इसके आगे तो आपकी नौकरी है, आप तो कहीं जा नहीं रहे हो, क्या करें? So she said, नहीं, Europe job, do some work in a different country. I said, okay, let's go. So we went to Switzerland. From Switzerland, I worked in the US, most countries in Europe, parts of Africa, Singapore. I did that for 3 years. Then they said, "Agla kya karna chahta hai?" I said, "मालूम नहीं, बताओ क्या." That's been my attitude. I said, "आप बताओ करना क्या है? I can always stay here for longer." They said, "No, go to Sri Lanka." I said, "Okay, let's do Sri Lanka." So Switzerland to Sri Lanka to Dubai. And then, of course, when Cadila approached me, we had a series of discussions. And I was very interested because I think Cadila combines a lot of values in terms of humanism, in terms of humanity, in terms of care, in terms of continuity. We do it very quietly. We don't make a big noise about it. But I think Aapki University is just one example of, I think, a lot of very good community service that we do, and real community work, not lip service. And I think long before it became fashionable to say CSR and community and so on, we have been doing it actively and across all the communities that we are a part of. So I'm very impressed with that, very moved by that as well. Also, with the quality of the people, with the quality of the opportunities that there are here. So Pradeep spoke about me being grounded and being down to earth. Down to earth. He's being polite. Kabhi down to earth is also means I'm a little direct. I say a few things up front. But if I had to pull out lessons from leadership, I would say, I said the first thing, you always have a choice. अब करना या ना करना आपके हाथ में है. ना करोगे तो ठीक है, रिस्क नहीं लिया, लेकिन रिस्क नहीं लिया तो कुछ सीखा भी नहीं. हो सकता है कि रिस्क लो और नतीजा मतलब नाफल हो, तो भी हो सकता है. You can't rule it out. लेकिन अगर रिस्क नहीं लिया तो फिर तो नतीजा 100% आपकी तरफ नहीं है। और अगर रिस्क लिया तो इवन इफ इट इज 10% इन योर फेवर, देयर इज अ चांस दैट इट इज इन योर फेवर। तो चांस लो, रिस्क लो, ट्राई करो। जो भी नई चीज हो, नया काम हो, नया कंट्री हो, नई जगह हो। After I started my MBA, after I finished my MBA in XLR, first time I took a job, I went to Bombay. And for 7 months, I lived in a paying guest accommodation. I was saving no money. So between the rent and the transport and the food, what I used to get, I used to spend. And it's not as if I used to earn a great deal either. That time, when I started my career in 1988, I used to earn a salary of 2,500 rupees per month total, before PF also. But that was enough. It was a happy life. And that's the second thing. Be happy with what you have. Be grateful. Lot of people in this country have less than you, or will have less than you. You are already studying beyond your 12th class, it means you are already in a privileged minority. You are doing an MBA, it means post-graduation, it means you are even more of a privileged minority. So be grateful. God and this country have given you more than they have given to other people. So whatever chance, whatever opportunities. And third, because of that, gratitude, be aware of the people around you. ऐसे कई लोग हैं, अगर उनको मौका मिलता तो काफी अच्छा काम करते, काफी काम करते। बस उनमें और मुझ में सिर्फ इतना फर्क है, अंग्रेजी में कहते हैं ना, एक्सीडेंट ऑफ बर्थ। अगर if it had been someone else, if I had been born to someone else, I would have not have been here. I would not have had this privilege. I would not have had this opportunity to interact with you at this point in my career and say, I have achieved this much and done this much and contributed this much. If you are conscious of that, then ask yourself, what opportunities are you creating for other people? दूसरों के लिए क्या क्या कर रहे हो? अपने लिए जो कर रहे हो जरूर करो. That goes without saying. As long as it is ethical, as long as it is honest, as long as it is legal, by all means do what you need to do for yourself. But what are you doing for anyone else? What are you doing for anyone else in your life? What conditions are you creating for other people to study, for other people to grow, for other people to make a difference to this nation? I mean, I spoke about the work I do with workers. I've also developed leaders in other companies. That's what I've done in every job that I've been in. That's what I hope to do in Kerala as well. My mother used to take tuitions, and with the money that she used to earn from tuitions, she used to pay the tuition fees of girls in a school in Tamil Nadu. That was her choice. She did not have done it. She could have kept the money and done something for herself. We were not hugely, we were well off. Like I said, in a minority of a minority, you are well off. It's not as if we were super rich or wealthy. We could have used the money. I could have bought some new clothes. I could have bought some more clothes. We could have bought some more books. She chose. That was her way of saying, I'm giving something back to the country. तो आप ये सोचिए कि इस देश में जो रहते हैं उनका क्या भला कर रहा है. It is very fashionable to say that US is better than us, Dubai is better than us, Singapore is better than us. वो कहते हैं सही बात है. In some ways, those countries are better than us. My attitude, a lot of people used to ask me in Switzerland, especially, they used to say, कि, अच्छा, now you've come to Europe, you're going to settle down here. I used to say, no, not really. My intention is going abroad was never to settle down permanently abroad. अगर वो करना होता तो 20 साल पहले कर लेता, 10 साल पहले, 30 साल पहले कर लेता. Intention was to go abroad and learn, and see what is different, what is better, and then come back to India and make a difference here. Those learnings are what I brought back here. And lastly, I would just say, big learning lesson, leadership lesson, have fun while you're doing it. Life is not so serious. At the end of the day, तो अंग्रेजी में कहावत होती है कि the only thing certain in life is that it will end someday. बाकी क्या होता है मालूम नहीं. So enjoy yourself while you have the time. Do the nice things. Go out, look at the flowers, look at the sunlight, take a walk, take a holiday. Make a difference, and all that is important. But also take care of yourself in the process. Those are my thoughts on leadership, situational leadership, how you deal with opportunities, how you deal with adversity, how you make a difference to the people around you, and how you make a difference to yourself at the end of the day. Thank you for this opportunity. It's been great talking to all of you. I hope I hope I've been able to inspire some of you with my words. I hope there have been some lessons at least. If you have any questions or comments, I'll be happy to
Sir,
listen to
I'll
you.
ask one thing, sir. I will not let this opportunity to go. We are talking to a global president HR. So definitely my question will be, what do you look in a candidate when you select him for the organization? I think this question is very relevant for the all participants. Tomorrow they'll be forcing the interviews. So what 3 or 4 things you will look in a candidate for a suitable position, sir?
First thing, know your subject. If you say that you are an MBA in marketing, you should know marketing. If you say that you are a BPharm, you should know pharmaceuticals. If you say you are a BSc in chemistry, you should understand what happens when a solvent and a chemical mix. You can't tell me that, then there's a bit of a problem. That includes, by the way, how to apply it in real life. One is to know what is in the textbook and what is theory. Second is to apply it in real life. So at least, one doesn't expect a student to have a great experience in terms of real life applications, but what may be possible, or at least you have tried something. But more than that, for me, I look for a sense of curiosity. क्यों ऐसा होता है? क्या हुआ? कैसे हुआ? Ask yourself these questions. Force yourself some answers. Third, sense of imagination. What would happen if? What would happen if something was done differently? What would happen if there was a different opportunity? What would happen if there was not this possibility, not this chemical, but some other chemical? What should you be careful about? So on. Fourth, some sense of community, some sense of integration in the world. I want to know if you are a good person to work with. Can you challenge me? Can I learn something from you? Can you inspire me? What will you learn from Cadila? What can Cadila learn from you after a period of time? What can you give back to Cadila? So these are some of the things, some of the questions I would look for. Ultimately, I want to know you as a person. We are not at the end of the day hiring someone for sales or hiring someone for a lab or hiring someone for finance. We are hiring you for Cadila. We are hiring you as a person. I want to know you as a person. The more you share, the more you come across, the better it is. But basically, know your subject, have some curiosity, have some imagination, be open. At some point, I will ask you a question that you can't answer. How will you deal with it? Know your limitations, know how you can handle negatives, know how you can handle the things that you don't know. Kya karoge? All that makes a difference. Those are the things I would look for. Fast.
The second part of this, sir, what are the common mistakes interviews do in the interviews? Common mistakes.
Very good question. Common mistakes that people make in interviews. Okay, one is not listening to the question. Yeah? Say, listen to the question, see what you are being asked, answer the question that is put to you. If you want to go 5% to the left or right, that's okay. But if you come into the interview with a great desire to impress me, and you want to talk only about yourself to the extent that I feel that the question has not been heard, you will not come off very well with me at the end of it. The second mistake I think people make is that trying to answer every question. In every interview, there will come a point where you will have a question that you can't answer. Now, is it the best approach to say, I don't know the answer? Maybe not. But should you make an attempt? Of course you can. But if you try bluffing your way through it, I'll see what happens. But interviewers will see the bluff. Whatever it is, because at the end of the day, they know that they are asking. They know the answer that you might not know. Or they know how to approach a problem which you might not be able to articulate. The third is I found sometimes that candidates get nervous. They are a little afraid. सीनियर आदमी है, बैठा है, बात कर रहा है, मालूम नहीं क्या सोचता है. There's no need to be. At the end of the day, it's meant to be an interaction. It's not meant to be a formal grilling or an interview or pressure on you. That's not the idea. We're talking. There's something you might know from a student's perspective that I don't. There are definitely some things I know from an industry perspective that you might not. So it's exchanging notes. So I think important is not to feel pressurized. Little bit of pressure is healthy. Too much of pressure. I have had one interview, one very memorable interview 15 years back, when I asked a candidate what was his hobby. He said his hobby was playing cards. That might have been a very honest answer. It's certainly not going to, I was going to say play cards or nice. What can I do with that? But if you try and link up your hobbies, try and link up your extracurriculars in some way that is either organizational or adds to you as a personality or a person, it's a more useful thing to do. And I would always encourage honesty, but not the point where it starts portraying. There is a real need to do it. So if someone says, I was asking something that is a matter of fact, that is a different matter. But for example, why did you fail or why did you do class 10 twice? You have to say that I failed the first time. You can't lie about that. But what is your hobby, what are your interests, you can kind of think through your answers a bit. So prepare for interviews a bit. Don't treat it as something that you can walk into and it doesn't happen. The best interview candidates prepare a lot for the conversations.
So taking this question further, how much weightage you give for a resume for selecting a participant? How much weightage you will give, and what should I keep in mind when I prepare my resume for certain post?
If you're talking from a college student level?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because this will be the first job for them.
Weightage for a CV will not be beyond, I would say, 10 to 15% at the most. Primarily, the purpose of the CV is to determine whether we can interview you or not, whether it is worth the time to interview you. So as long as it is factual, concise, and clear, not a problem. Most of the weightage will be on what happens after the interview. Whether it's the interview or a case study or a group discussion, all that will make a much bigger difference in terms of the final selection. What was the second part of your question, Kavit? You were asking.
What should I, sir, highlight in my resume, which will attract an interviewer?
What you're trying to say in a resume throughout is you're trying to say how am I a good fit for your company?
Correct, sir. Right.
And why should you interview me?
Yes. Yes.
Your purpose is only to make it to the next stage, where the CV. The CV itself is not going to get you the job. First of all, get that out of the way. It will definitely carry weight. A good CV will carry weightage. A badly written CV will lose an opportunity. But that said, what you need to then focus on is answer the questions, especially so these objective type questions. No doubt, which, where did you do, which school did you study in, what were your scores, all that, blood group and father's name and address and all that. But when it comes to the descriptive type questions, think about it, do a draft. Don't fill in the form in the first instance. Do a rough draft. See how you can, like I said, relate it to Cadila, relate it to the outside world. So why do you want to work for Cadila? Questions, if I ask. If you say, because the salary is good. Okay, the salary is good, but then so many companies pay a good salary. So I'm not going to be very impressed by that. I'll say, हाँ, salary अच्छा, तनख्वाह अच्छा है, लेकिन कई कंपनियों में तनख्वाह अच्छा है, तो मैं आपसे क्यों बात करूं? Why is Cadila important to you? Your products are in the pharmaceutical space. It's better than saying just that the money is good. Your pharmaceutical space, but then there are a lot of pharmaceuticals companies in Gujarat as well. So what is unique about Cadila? You say, okay, your products are in the pharmaceutical space and you do a lot of great community related work. My father's life has been impacted by Cadila in this family. Then I'm like, okay, this makes sense to me. Now you are really telling me why you are looking at Cadila, not why you are looking at some other pharmaceutical. So related to the company, related to what we do, related to me. And be honest, of course, talk about something that has really happened. Then I start developing an interest. So that's why I said do a draft, do several drafts before you write it finally. When you write it, it should be clear. If there is a word limit, stick to it. If we are asking for a 100-word answer and you give me 500 words, may not be ready and certainly may not have good impact. So stick to the rules, but practice and then write.
So how about reading the job description well, the JD well, before actually applying for the job and quoting some points from there?
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. That is very important. Look at the JD carefully. Look at what we are saying that we are looking at in terms of people and what they do. We will also this year in some campuses we'll be talking about how the training program will be run, how training is provided, what kind of training is provided, what kind of learning opportunities. So look through that. Read about the company on the internet. I think we have a fantastic website with loads of information on it. So you can absolutely look at what's on the website, read press reports, bring all that knowledge in. Do as much homework as you can. It's very useful.
Sir, one last question, sir. How to deal with the failures?
There's no such thing as failure. Failure is what? I mean, yeah, sometimes things will happen that you don't like, and sometimes some other things will not happen the way you like them to happen. My advice would always be, what can you learn from it? Why did it happen? What can you learn from it? What will you do differently next time? If you can answer these three questions, you're all right. It takes some time. All of us have a share of failures in life. Let's be clear. It's not, none of us are 100% successful at what we do. I've had my fair share of disappointments as well. Early on in my student life, as I told you, my marks were never very good. They started becoming good only when I started studying psychology and behavioral science and industrial relations. Then they improved dramatically. So you'll find what you're good at. And then I was, in my case, I was grateful. I said, if I had got high marks in the my parents would have definitely made me do engineering. If I had done engineering, I would have been a bad engineer. I'm quite convinced. My heart was never in it. So, what can you just look at it? What can you learn differently? What can you do differently? In my case, I'll choose the subjects that I'm good at. I'll choose the subjects that I like to. And move on. At the end of the day, rejection in an interview, rejection from a company only means that you and the company were not made for each other. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. You'll find something that you're good at. You'll find something that you like. Take some time for yourself, think through it, recover from it, and move on. Nothing is permanent.
Pradeep sir, unmute yourself.
Yeah. Sir, one more thing. When I decide to go and make a career, I should listen to my heart, or I should look at my competencies or the qualification.
Listen to your heart.
Okay.
There are so many examples around us people who have made careers that are very, very different from what they studied or what their so-called educational qualifications and competencies are in. I mean, Infosys, Narayan Murthy is an engineer, but I don't think the other five, not all of them were engineers. Definitely none of them were in IT because IT didn't exist. There was only, that time, the only other IT company I think was PCS, which also doesn't exist anymore, later than Amazon. I don't think Jeff Bezos ever studied information technology. Bill Gates didn't do much on computers before he started Microsoft. I'll give you a strange example. The Tatas never knew anything about steel. And Naoroji Tata didn't even know anything. Wasn't even a great engineer in that sense. He had a vision to set up a steel factory in Seneca. I would always say follow your heart. But yeah, once you've decided where your heart lies, you need to read up a lot on it. You do need to study about. So while it's easy to say that Narayana Murthy started Infosys without much of a background, his background in IT was in the US, it was not in India. But once he started the company, and once he had the other Mohandas Pai and the others joining him, all of them needed to work at understanding computers and understanding the industry. So you can make the decision based on your heart, but the work that you do has to be based on your mind and your intellect and your comprehension of facts and so on. So, but the heart comes first, in my view. If your heart is not in it, it won't happen. It won't happen.
Sir, when a student has asked something and his question goes like, how to become a leader through believing yourself or by reconditioning yourself?
You have a mischievous answer to that question. Becoming a leader, the answer is neither. Becoming a leader happens by doing things. There is no leader who works in the space of belief or works in the space of understanding alone. You do things to become a leader. In that doing, you change people. You change yourself as well. You may change your own beliefs, you may change your own attitudes, you may change your own behavior. You will probably have to change your own behavior at some point in time. You can have fundamental belief in yourself, but that belief will get tested over a period of time. There will come situations like happened in my case when I spoke to you about when I moved to Bombay for the first time or went to Saudi Arabia for the first time. At one point in time, I reached, okay, am I going to be able to do this or not? होएगा कि नहीं मालूम नहीं. So you have to say मालूम नहीं and then make a choice. So that will reinforce your belief in yourself for whatever outcome it is. You may need to recondition yourself. There's no doubt about that. You may need to change your own behavior. You may need to change your own beliefs. All that. One is doing. The other thing I personally believe is that you need to have a sense of humility about you. I think that humility is important to be able to say that I am where I am, but I am not fundamentally very different from where you are. I have more experiences. Yes, I have more of a variety of situations I've been through. I have learned more because I've tried to do more, and I've contributed more because I've pushed myself to do. But never lose that sense of humility, which says that at the end of the day, you are one person among 6 billion on this planet and one person among 1.2 billion in this country. So, something like that will always keep you grounded. And in my case, I always remind myself that not only am I one person among 1.2 billion in this country, but about 800 million are younger than me. I know my age. At least 800 million or so are younger than me as well. That keeps you very, very grounded. There are people out there who know more than I do. Like I said, they're looking for the opportunities to implement and the opportunities to do something differently, which I'm lucky. I've had those. But that is the key to leadership. You make that happen. I would also suggest if any of you are interested, read a book called Level 5 Leadership. I think it's by Collins. I'm not sure if I can get a citation if it is. It's very good. Talking about what really goes into transformational leadership. It makes a real difference. You can stuff is very good. So that is what goes into becoming a real leader.
Sir, fear of failure, I'll say, sir. I have my own experience. I proposed to a girl which was most beautiful and which was so much hyped, and she was so moved. Sabne bola tha, don't propose, you will have the backlash. But I proposed and she was waiting for my proposal. So जो हमारे अंदर के fear of failures होते हैं वो मेरे उस दिन से दूर हो गए. हमारे अंदर के unnecessary fears होते हैं. We don't know the outcome of the other person. So that happened to me in the reality. So that I feel unnecessary their fear of failures. Dr. Namrata.
Thank you, Pradeep sir. Sir, quickly, I will take up one question from our own leader, Bharti madam. Actually, we got disconnected due to some technical glitches. One question from Bharti madam. She's in School of Science. She says, what are the qualities that you see while selecting a person for a role of a leader? Number one. Number two is the same question is extended to what are the probe questions asked for that?
We look for evidence of leadership. Leadership can be demonstrated at any age. It can be demonstrated at any point in time in your life.
Right.
So the question would sound like, what has been a transformational experience for you so far? Why did you choose to do this course in this university, in this field of study? What difference do you think you can make? Tell us, it could be a straight question, like tell us about a leadership movement that you've had or a leadership opportunity that you think you have handled well, something you've done in the community. These are all questions that you can guide the answer towards the leadership quality that you have. Subtext of it is, of course, if you have your academic record talks about one part of your leadership abilities, your extracurriculars talk about another part of your leadership abilities, your hobbies speak to a third portion of it. All those are there. So it's really up to the candidate to link up the question, the answer to something around leadership. If you can do that, then you're already a leader. You're already on the way.
Thank you so much, sir. In fact, the catch behind your entire conversation, in fact, and address to our students was the simplicity. the way you have been handling the entire conversation, entire address was having, a lot of, simplicity, and the tone, the temperament, the flow was so, I mean, it was going with ease. So what I, have understood, or my, takeaways is that follow your heart, and second thing is humility at the core. So now I quickly invite Vyas sir, if he has something to say, and Abhinand sir after that. Bharti madam, I'm sure that answer you have been answered, well with Sami sir. Yeah, you are muted, madam. Hope, madam, you are.
Yeah, it was fine
Thank
listening
you.
to his talk. Yeah.
Vyas sir.
Thank you, Namrata madam, and thank you, Samir sir, for a wonderful talk. And generally, I also prefer extempore talk, and what you said exactly the right way, where you can connect directly with the audiences. And yes, you narrated your examples. I would like to narrate one example at Nirma. One of my students was a son of a very big company owner. Like he is having more than 10 companies in Ahmedabad and abroad. And when he met me, he asked his son, I will give you everything. You have to cross the 8 number. That is be above 80, number one. Number two,
Okay.
he clearly said that when you complete your degree in chemical engineering, you cannot join or you cannot get directly my chair. You have to work 1 month in each company, right from ground level worker to the top level. You have to understand each and every flow of work and business etiquette. So completely for 1 year, he was in a training at ground level, try to understand what are the issues, what are the problem, how they are behaving, how they are working. And then you come to me. So this is what basically a learning of leadership. If you can understand the ground level requirement, you can be a leader. If you cannot understand, you are the boss. This is what
Absolutely
I believe.
right.
Yeah.
Very
This is
well
what I
said.
believe.
Very
And
well said.
yeah, and second, you very rightly give a message to our youngsters how to prepare for the interview. Whenever interview is there, there are always butterflies in the stomach. They don't know. Last moment, nature call is there whether to go for the interview office or to go for the nature call. They are always in a trouble. So there are options, there are choices,
Yeah.
and they have to make the best choice. If they can control, they can do it. And I can give you one more example in DSCL. I had worked with the DSCL also in Baroda, Diamonds and Chemicals Limited over there. And in interview, one of my friend was asked that VP Marketing and VP HR was taking the interview. And he asked, what is your future plan? What is your objective in future? He said, sir, I want to sit on your chair. This is the real example I'm telling you. It is not a story. And the person was really happy the way the confidently he said, he replied that yes, you can get it and you are selected. So
Very good.
what you
Yeah.
told, that confidence level is required, but confidence doesn't mean कि आप मैचोमैन बन के जाओ और वहां पे कुछ भी बोल के आ जाओ. No, it should be logical, it should be technical, it should be justified. Then only that confidence is useful. Otherwise, it is of no use. It is overconfidence, and it may be considered as arrogant rather than the confidence.
Yeah.
So this is what I have seen, and you have rightly said about the hobbies, and people do not understand the difference between hobbies and interest. It is always better to write interest rather than the hobbies. So you can have one escape, one runaway program with you if you write the interest. So these are the things I have learned over a period of my experience. But it was very wonderful talk, sir, and thank you very much for motivating and keeping ourselves learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Vyas
so
sir. Now I invite Abhinand sir for his views.
No, I must thank Samir ji for giving his precious time to address our students, guide them with precious skills on interviewing. Specifically for young kids, this is more important. Interviewing skills, because they are going to get into the career growth path from probably within 1 or 2 years now, and that's more important. Maybe in future for our IU, I would like to ask him one question: how the leaders can develop a energetic work culture, because that's what is the key to any organization growth.
Yeah.
And how leaders can develop a energetic work culture.
Big topic by itself. I think we can do something later, Pradeep.
Yes.
On that.
Sure, sir.
I think you can organize a series of lectures on that as well.
Sure, sir. We will do that.
You can
Yeah, so
definitely.
that's very close to me, because
Yeah,
the culture is the one thing which will drive everything.
yeah.
And probably, Pradeep, you can take the time of Samirji whenever he's free, maybe Feb, March, April, whenever, on specifically
Sure.
energetic work culture.
Definitely, definitely.
And we look forward to having Sir at campus.
Certainly. I look forward.
Yeah,
I shall also
sure.
look forward to making a visit sometime. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Abhinand sir, for setting one workshop in the future for the entire faculty staff, for creating
staff,
energetic.
both, yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, it's as per protocol, we'll invite one of our students, Anuj Patel.
But
Yeah, sure,
just
sir.
Namrata ji, just I
Sure.
will take 1 minute
Sure.
for this. I think there's something which is saying leak गाड़ी चले, लीक ही चले कपूत. ये तीनों उल्टे चले, शायर सिंह सपूत. Sir, if would have been a kind of a structured session or something like that, उतना शायद लर्निंग हमारा नहीं होता था सर. जिस तरह से आज हुआ है सेशन, आई थिंक दिस इज enormous learning for each one of us. For me, there was a great learning, sir. There was extreme learning for me, which I am going to utilize for me also. I am being very selfish what I am going to gain from this session, sir. Thank you so much for taking your time out, sir. सर को जब मैंने अप्रोच किया, सर ने एक सेकंड भी नहीं लगाया था. He said immediately, he said 29th. That is the beauty of sir. He doesn't take this thing, okay, I will see, this and that. Being at that position, within a fraction of a second, he said 29th, and please book everything like that. So sir, thank you so much for giving your time for this wonderful session, sir, which is it can be lot life changing session for many of us. जो नाम है इसका टर्निंग पॉइंट, आई थिंक नाम उसका आज सही अर्थों में जा रहा है. This can be a turning point for many of us. Thank you so much for your kind words, sir.
Pleasure.
थैंक यू प्रदीप
Glad you
सर.
found
आपने
it
बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस जो है हमारे स्टूडेंट्स के बिहाफ पे आपने पूछा, तो दे वर बेनिफिटेड, बिकॉज कभी कभी क्वेश्चंस आना भी एक चैलेंज है. तो थैंक यू सो मच ये क्वेश्चंस पूछने के लिए. और अब मैं इनवाइट करूंगी वन ऑफ आवर स्टूडेंट्स अनुज पटेल टू प्रपोज वोट ऑफ थैंक्स. Anuj, you can unmute.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the University Inspirational Webinar, I express my heartfelt thanks to our chief guest, Mr. Samir Nagarajan, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us a precious time. I would like to thank all the respected teachers who have blessed us with their presence, and I particularly inspired by these thoughts of sir. Leader, also a learner, he should keep learning all new things by team members and opposite team members. Thank you, sir. I express my gratitude, and once again, thank you, Samir Nagarajan, sir.
Thank you
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. Appreciate it.
थैंक यू सर. एंड बस एक लाइन से मैं रैप अप करना चाहूंगी. अपार्ट फ्रॉम थैंकिंग ऑल माय डीन्स एंड अभिनंदन सर, प्रदीप सर एंड भावेश सर एंड ऑल सपोर्टिंग स्टाफ, कि जीना इसी का नाम है, जो पूरा शुरुआत की तो मुझे नहीं पता है. आपने कहा था कि लीडर्स, क्रिएटिंग लीडर्स, ये भी एक बहुत बड़ी बात थी. जितनी सिंप्लिसिटी, जितनी ह्यूमिलिटी के साथ में जो आपने बहुत ईज के साथ में बताया. और जो प्रदीप सर बोल रहे थे कि स्ट्रक्चर्ड में हम कन्फाइन हो जाते हैं, तो कभी कभी ओपन एंडेड जैसे क्वेश्चंस होते हैं, वैसे ही ओपन जैसे डिस्कशन रहा था, तो बहुत हल्का लगता है, बहुत स्ट्रेस फ्री लगता है. सो दिस काइंड ऑफ कन्वर्सेशन एंड दिस काइंड ऑफ सिंप्लिसिटी ऑल्सो वी हैव टू अप्लाई टू अवर लाइफ. रादर पोजिंग इज एक्चुअली वेरी वेरी हार्मफुल. सो पोजिंग से सहज नहीं हो पाते हैं. ये बड़ा सहज और सरल जो था, उसके लिए मैं आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करती हूँ. थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
जय हिंद.